Hello everyone and welcome to another video with Wartime Whistles, where we talk about military history, rail fanning, and news in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. I'm Tyler, your host. In this documentary we're going to be talking about a famous railroad car, and this is the Caboose. Cabooses provided shelter for crew at the end of a train who were formerly required in switching and shunting, as well as in keeping a lookout for load shifting, damage to equipment and cargo, and overheating axles. Originally flat cars fitted with cabins or modified box cars, they later became purpose-built with bay windows above or to the sides of the car to allow crew to observe the train. Now, the cabooses that had the side windows, those were called bay window cabooses. Those were later cabooses, as well as the extended vision caboose. Now that was a caboose that had the cupola, but it was extended. Now the caboose also served as the conductor's office, and he was in charge of everybody on the train, from the engineer to the fireman to the brakeman. And on long routes, including sleeping accommodations and cooking facilities. A similar railroad car, the Brakeman, was used on British and Commonwealth railways outside North America. The role has since been replaced by the crew car in Australia. On trains not fitted with continuous brakes, brake vans provided a supplementary braking system, and they helped keep chain couplings taut. Cabooses were used on every freight train in the US and Canada until the 1980s, when safety laws requiring the presence of cabooses and full crews were relaxed. A major purpose of the caboose was for observing problems at the rear of the train before they caused trouble. Line-side defect detectors and end-of-train devices, also known as the FRED or Freight Train Rear End Device, eliminated much of this need. Freight train rear end device, which was also the end of train device, that is the flashing light that is at the rear of freight trains, and that sends a signal back to the engineer, which tells him what's going on in the back of the train, if he needs to stop the train for some sort of reason that's going on, and it detects defects as well as other things that might cause problems. Now, the brakeman had a dangerous job. So many people don't realize that back in the day, the trains did not have air brakes. They had a wheel with a chain on it, and that chain would go to the brakes on the wheels. So the brakeman, who was also responsible for observing the train from the caboose, so he would sit up there in the cupola or by the bay windows to observe the train from the rear, with the conductor doing his work in his office because he had a lot of paperwork he had to do. He would go out and walk across the tops of the trains. So what the trains had was, like I mentioned, they had a wheel on it, and that chain would go down to the brakes on the wheels. So he would turn that would turn, and it would turn on the brakes, and that would stop the train, and then the engineer would let him know when he wanted to release the brakes, and he would have to come out and let them off again. So that was a very dangerous job. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and turn on that notifications bell, and please follow me on X at TailsAmyHQ. See you in the next one.